If you're considering and are just on the fence about whether you should try therapy, definitely watch this video because this may answer some questions that you may have in order to potentially participate in therapy. Welcome to the Kurative Coach channel, where I talk about intentional living, mental health, and purposeful work. In this video, I want to talk about my thoughts after 1 year of therapy and talk about some misconceptions that you may have that are preventing you from starting therapy. But before we get started, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and let's get started. First, I want to get started with the fact that mental health is way more important than you may think. It affects our work, it affects our health, it affects our sleep, it affects our relationship with others. There's a lot of confusion and a lot of stigma around mental health, but this is not the video that will talk about it. Instead, I'm going to talk about therapy and just focus on that because it's already a huge topic and there's a lot to go through. To clarify, I'm just talking about talk therapy, which is speaking to a mental health licensed professional. To add some background, I've been doing therapy for over a year and I had a lot of preconceived notions and hesitation before I started therapy, and I'm creating this video because I wish I had this video for when I was considering trying therapy. This video is not meant for you to feel guilty about having these misconceptions or having these ideas about what therapy is. Some of these misconceptions that I'm going to talk about, I've had before I started, and I even had some while I was participating in therapy. So this video is mainly for informational purposes. A final note before I talk about my experience, I am not a licensed therapist. I am nothing of that sort. I'm not a professional. I'm just speaking straightly from experience. So if you need any mental health assistance or resources, definitely check out the resources down in the description below and find the professional help that you may actually need. So with all of that said, let's go to the first point. One misconception that a lot of people have is that they think therapy is only for those with severe mental illnesses. And as I said before, mental health is something that we all need to prioritize. So therapy is not only for those with chronic mental illnesses like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. In terms of our mental health, a lot of factors are really affecting our well-being. For example, if you lost your job or lost a loved one or are having difficult times with a loved one, those could make you feel anxious, stressed out, or burnt out. These sort of life events can affect you negatively in a lot more ways than you think. When my cousin passed away in 2019, I did not take a lot of time to grieve and to just recover from that sort of tragic event. For the most part, I took 1 day off just to grieve, and then I went back to work pretending that everything went back to normal. I didn't realize how much it was negatively affecting my work and my productivity. My sleep was deteriorating, my patience was gone, and I was starting to get a lot of physical pains like neck pain, back pain, and even stomach pain. Only after a few angry episodes did I really realize that I needed help, specifically professional help. My decision for trying out therapy was my first step into improving my mental health. So if you or someone you love has noticed a change in your behavior, it may be time for you to ask yourself whether you need some professional help to help you through a tough time. The second misconception a lot of people have about therapy is that they need a problem that's big enough and that's worthy enough to talk about in therapy. This is a perfect follow-up to the previous point because just as I mentioned that losing a job or losing a loved one are life events that may affect you negatively, there are actually everyday things that can also deteriorate your mental health. To most people, these everyday problems may not be big enough, but I'd love to challenge that. When you're feeling anxiety or you're burnt out from work or you're having a rough patch with someone or even going through a life transition, that could be a career transition, that can be moving from one place to another, you should be empowered to discuss these scenarios in therapy. If these negative feelings are preventing you from doing simple tasks such as focusing at work or feeling motivated and energized or getting a good night's rest, it's helpful to understand why you're feeling this way and maybe figure out what you can do to help you overcome these struggles. Once you start therapy to get through this tough time, you don't have to do therapy forever. You can utilize therapy as a resource to overcome this obstacle and then move on. Especially with the COVID lockdown, I'm so happy that I got to do therapy, and it helped me realize that no issue is too small for therapy. So let's go with the third misconception, and that's therapists are supposed to solve all of your problems. If we're paying for therapy, we're probably hoping that all of our problems are solved, but unfortunately that's inaccurate. What I've learned and what I actually appreciate is that therapists are there to hear you out. They're providing a safe space for you to talk things out loud, and hopefully you're the one that actually figures things out on your own. There's a lot of things that goes on in your head. Sometimes it starts to make sense after you express it out loud. The freedom that you get to actually go deeper into these thoughts and feelings and emotions about the things that are bothering you can actually help you understand how you can handle it. From what I've learned, it's not about trying to worry about what I cannot control externally, but more of what I can control internally. There are a number of therapeutic techniques that can help you solve these specific scenarios, like cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, and other techniques that the therapist can actually use to help you. But at the very least, just having a trusted and unbiased person to hear you out can actually help you a lot more than you think. Now, some of you who are watching this video may think that you're not ready to start therapy and may ask whether therapy is the only thing that can help maintain your mental health. And I would say no. Although therapy is a great resource for you and your mental health, it is not the only thing that can help you. There are many other opportunities and activities that you can do on your own or as a supplement to therapy, such as journaling, exercising, meditation, and even just resting. If discussing your struggles with other people is your thing, you can find a trusted support system that can just hear you out. These could be your family, your friends, or even members of a like-minded community. Personally, I use all of these activities that I mentioned to supplement my therapy because it helps me create a better experience during my therapy sessions. I keep a daily journal to write out all of my thoughts, whether they're good or bad, to remember everything that's happened throughout the day. Since I have therapy once a week, I can refer to those journal entries to maybe help me figure out why I'm feeling a certain way. And since I have that information, I can talk about it more. Sometimes I prefer talking to other creators and entrepreneurs because I know that I'm not feeling alone with my struggles. It's really up to you on how you want to work on your mental health. Therapy is just a resource that you can utilize. Therapy is very helpful, but it's not the only resource that you have. The last and final misconception that I really want to talk about is that therapy is very inaccessible and expensive. Now, this is only half truth because I know there's still a lot of people who don't have access to affordable therapy, counseling, or mental health resources. But I feel like there's a chunk of people who don't know where to look. According to opencounseling.com, there are low price, sliding scale, or even free counseling and therapy available. Some of these public clinics are only available for those with a mental health crisis or are considered lower income. If you're working full-time for an employer, your employer might actually provide a perk called the Employee Assistive Program, or EAP. EAP is a safe and confidential resource for you to try out therapy or have access to other mental health resources at little or no cost to you. This is a perfect way for you to ease into therapy and just try it out without putting too much investment out of pocket. When I first started therapy, I utilized my EAP resource and I had 6 free sessions of therapy every calendar year. EAP may provide other mental health resources outside of therapy, and so definitely check in with your HR to see what other opportunities you have. Whether you're too busy to meet up with a therapist in person or you'd rather have more therapists to choose from, there are a lot of online therapy opportunities for you to take advantage of. Personally, I've been using BetterHelp for more than a year and I love it. I was able to choose the therapist I wanted to work with out of the pool that were available, and I was able to stay in contact through text, through video, through a phone call, and I can use the application to keep track of my goals as well as the worksheets that the therapist provided me. BetterHelp also provides financial aid for those who may need it, so definitely check that out. There are already a lot of mental health and therapy resources out there, but as more people start to realize how important mental health is, more will come. I hope this video has helped you in some way answer some questions that you may have about therapy. My goal is to hopefully convince you to try out therapy if you were on the fence about it. And feel free to comment down below which point resonated with you. What other misconceptions didn't I mention in this video? Don't forget to check out the other mental health resources in the description down below. And definitely do your own research to find the best mental health care for you. Thank you for watching this video. If you think this video may be helpful for anyone, feel free to share it with them. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.